Welcome back to Revision series with me, Kavya Tendral. This series is started as per the request we received from our subscribers. So hereafter, as I discussed in last video, on every Thursdays we'll be seeing one topic from dentistry. Today we'll see about the orofacial cleft part 2. It is dealing with the management of cleft lip and cleft palate. This video is compiled with points from oromaxillofacial surgery, ENT, anatomy and some pediatrics point also. If you have not subscribed our channel, do subscribe for more interesting videos like this, and as well press the bell icon so that you will receive a daily video notification. I have also provided the part 1 video link in the description and also mentioned the content what we have discussed in the video with the timings in the description for first video and for this video also. Do check out it. We'll discuss about the pre-operative, operative and post-operative management care in this video. Before we go to actual topic proper, we'll see about the orofacial cleft, a quick review. Under orofacial cleft, we have cleft lip and cleft palate. In cleft palate, we can say based on the site it is central or lateral, and based on its extension to nostrils it is complete or incomplete. Coming to cleft palate, we have some other classification which we'll see in later slides. Coming to muscles in and around the lip, this is most important because in cleft lip there is abnormality of these muscles, especially the nasolabial group muscle and as well the bilabial group muscle. In nasolabial group we have the transverse nasalis, levator labiae superior alecnasi and levator labiae superioris. These groups of muscle are connecting or attached from the nose and as well the upper lip. Bilabial group of muscles are only one, that is orbicularis oris. It has two parts we know. One is the oblique part and another is the horizontal part. Obviously this oblique part is the one which is getting attached to the nasal septum, to be remembered, because in times of cleft lip there is especially the complete cleft lip. In cleft lip there is associated nasal deformity, especially the alar base increasing width and deviation of nasal septum and etc. Coming to the muscles of the palate, muscles of palate play a very important role in case of the cleft palate and cleft lip, because in case of cleft palate there is obvious failure in the action of the muscle, especially one subtype, that is a submucous cleft palate, where the levator muscle which is not uniting in the midline and thereby causing velopharyngeal incompetence. So thereby to reconstruct the palate, also we need to know the muscles of the palate. A special mention submucosal cleft palate, wherein it is not at all a overt cleft palate, rather the muscle, that is the elevator muscle, is not fusing in the midline and thereby there is a notch that is felt in the posterior part of the hard palate. Next, coming to anatomy of lips. In anatomy of lips, what we need to know is, first this part is the commissure of lip, and then this is the vermilion border or the red border. Above that it is the white border, and this is the cupid bow. This part is philtrum and this line is the philtrum column. These are all the parts of lip overall view. And as well this part of the lip, what we see here, is called as a tubercle. This tubercle is seen in upper lip and as well lower lip. Coming to the actual problem in cleft lip and cleft palate, first it is cosmetically a great problem, and then there is a difficulty in feeding, because whenever there is a cleft lip, then always there will be a difficulty in feeding, because there is poor attachment and so on, difficulty in speech and defective dentition, because cleft lip and cleft palate is one of the causes for a defective dentition. Next, coming to nasal deformity, we already seen there is decreased alar dome, there is increased crease, and the dome is depressed, projecting down, and alar base with this increasing, and as well there is deviated nasal septum. So here our surgery is aimed at treating and correcting all the nasal deformities as well the lip cleft also. Coming to time of the surgery, we'll remember like lip surgeries are around 6 months and palate surgeries around 12 to 15 months, that is 1.5 years. Lip, we have two lip, upper lip and lower lip, so let us put like 3, so it is 6. So it is around 6 months we do a lip surgery, cleft lip surgery, and cleft palate again It is we have a soft palate and a hard palate. 6 words in palate, so it is again 12. It is like again 12 months. Start from 12 months, that is 1 year, 1 to 1.5 year. The palate surgery is done. Coming to cleft lip, the aims of surgery in cleft lip is to improve or correct the same problem, that is the cosmetic problem, to elevate the difficulty in feeding, speech, and as well to improve the dentition. Coming to rule of 10. Rule of 10 in cleft lip will remember like this. L for leukocyte, tilt the I so that you will get H, so hemoglobin, and P for pound, because whenever a baby is growing, it is growing with the age, so pound and the age will remember like this, and it is rule of 10. So 10,000 leukocytes should be there, 10 gram a percentage of hemoglobin, and 10 pounds of weight, and 10 weeks of age is ideal for a cleft lip surgery, and this is the rule of 10. Coming to principles of surgery, it is like again reconstructing the lip, chilioplasty, to maintain the normal anatomy, that is while constructing the vermilion border, intact cupid bow, maintaining the vertical length from the columella to the cupid bow, and then correcting the nasal deformity. And one important thing is there is accurate apposition of margin for proper healing, integrity of orbicularis oris, because we know the orbicularis oris oblique part is attached to the nasal septum. Whenever there is cleft lip, there is also loss of integrity of the orbicularis oris, so our principle of treatment should be again to maintain the integrity of orbicularis oris. At last, the principles of surgery. These are all the principles of surgery aimed in the cleft lip. Now, what we are going to do there, one important thing to remember is we have a normal side and an abnormal side. We are dealing with unilateral cleft lip. Here, the normal side, from normal side we are going to do rotation flap, because surgery is itself Millard's surgery, that is Millard's rotation advancement flap surgery. So MRA will remember this. From normal side we are going to take rotational flap, R for R. From abnormal side we are going to take advancement flap. Let us see how it is actually getting done. To make it more simpler, this is actually a unilateral complete cleft lip. Why I say complete cleft lip is the cleft is extending to the nostrils unilaterally, so it is unilateral complete cleft lip. Our surgery is Millard surgery. In Millard surgery we are going to give 9 points. Based on the 9 surface marking point, we are going to do a chilioplasty, and by that way, first we are going to make an incision based on the ala, and then we are removing the flap, and we are identifying the orbicularis muscle, then detaching the orbicularis muscle from there, and again we are suturing it here horizontally, and the oblique part is again reconstructed and attached to the nasal septum. Associated nasal abnormality, we can do a C flap and construct the cleft lip into a normal lip, and chilioplasty is thus done. It is the most concise form I am saying. Now coming to after completing, what are the sutures we do? Usually the I have already said nasolabial muscles is connected to the nasolabial muscle with premaxillar by non-absorbable suture. The oblique part of the muscle and entering nasal spine, that is nasal septum, you are going to attach it, and horizontal part of orbicularis oris plus the opposite part, that is the opposite together, opposite like this, by absorbable suture. When it comes to mucosa on the inner side, it is all by the interrupted suture. As far as the interrupted suture is concerned, for dry it is 50 nylon, for wet mucosa it is 40 chromic catgut suture is done. At last, for clean skin closure, we do again interrupted 50 suture nylon sutures. It is holding same for even the bilateral cleft lip. In bilateral cleft lip again alabase like incision is made, and then the same process of Millard's, first is rotational flap, and then the advancement flap is done and corrected. For this, the general anesthesia required, and the lip infiltration of 0.5% of lignocaine plus 1 in 2 lakh adrenaline is given at the lip for local hemostasis. Then cleft lip and cleft palate. Basically, we do orthodontic management as pre-surgically for getting good results. And then there are many other methods, but one of the methods is gingival periosteoplasty and bone graft. Usually gingival periosteoplasty, when we do, then there is doing bone graft after that is obviate, but it is needed only when there is a bone gap. Now what are the actual defects is basically in cleft lip and cleft palate both, what is happening is there is